Good morning once again. Welcome to our sixth lecture. Still talking about Black consciousness. This morning we're going to focus on the legacy of Black consciousness. But before we look at the legacy of Black consciousness, let us quickly have a recap of what we talked about in our previous lesson. In our previous lesson, we unpacked the question that said, how did the Black consciousness influence the 1976 Soweto uprising? So now you will notice that grievances regarding Black education were one of the most things that influenced the Soweto uprising. You will notice that the Bantu education was actually designed in a way that was actually preparing Black people for unskilled labor. Now you'll notice that the budget for white education was 15 times more than that of the Black education, meaning that the focus was on the superior race. Then remember that the white people were regarded as the superior race. Thus the government had put its budget for the education for white people to be 15 times more of that of the Black people. So that was under the policy of Bantu education. So you notice that Black schools lacked equipment. As a result, that is why most of the Black people that were educated under the Bantu education were prepared for unskilled labor. At the end of the day, they were unskilled. Now you'll notice that there was shortages in terms of classrooms and teachers in the Black communities. This led to the Soweto uprising. The curriculum was also limited. That was also a reason that led to the Soweto uprising. You notice that Afrikaans was used as a medium of instruction. And you notice that Afrikaans was the language that was used by the oppressor. Now the oppressor made sure that they introduced Afrikaans as the medium of communication so that it actually benefits them and they understand what the person who's being oppressed is saying. And this being used as a medium of communication meant that they were actually serving the purposes of the apartheid government. Thus, this led to the Soweto uprising of 1976. Now, for our lesson today, let us quickly look at the legacy of Black consciousness. What did Black consciousness leave behind? What did Steve Biko leave behind? Remember that as Black consciousness was actually spreading throughout South Africa, as everybody became aware of themselves being Black, as they gained confidence, as they gained Black pride, you will notice that it left a legacy behind. Now, Black consciousness motivated South Africans to challenge apartheid. Remember that apartheid was a system that was meant to separate Black people from white people. And this system was actually oppressing the Black people. So you'll notice that the Black consciousness movement motivated most of the South Africans to challenge apartheid. Now you notice that there was change in Black attitude. School children defied the government, meaning that as Blacks understood how the government was treating them, as Black understood how they needed to change their attitude towards the government, then this meant that they had to challenge the government because now they had the confidence because of Black consciousness. Black consciousness gave them confidence. Black consciousness gave them identity. Now, one of the things that was left behind by the Black consciousness was that on the 16th of June 1976, that was the turning point in South African history. Now, everybody was now aware of what was transpiring. As a result, they had to protest. They had to express themselves. Now, this resulted in the country's wide protest. the whole country now had, they were now knowledgeable about what was going on. At the end of the day, the whole country had to be a part of the protest so that there would be change in South Africa. Now, Steve Biko Foundation was formed. So Steve Biko, because of the black consciousness, it left behind the foundation that was formed by Steve Biko, which is the Steve Biko Foundation. Now, at the end of it all, this led to respect for human dignity. Because of black consciousness, there was respect for human dignity. Why? Because the human beings knew who they were. When I'm saying human being, who are we referring to in this instance? We're referring to the black person. Remember, the black person was referred to as a minor. The black person was oppressed by the system or by the government system. The policy of apartheid meant that the black person was supposed to submit to the white person. At the end of the day, the black person was viewed or seen as a foreigner in their own land. So the black consciousness movement was meant to raise awareness and make sure that the black person actually is aware of the value that they have, the value systems that they need to follow. So now, as an individual, as a black person, you are supposed to have black pride, black confidence. At the end of the day, you needed to know who you are, not to be told who you are. So now this is what the legacy of black consciousness was about. We hope you benefited from